Good afternoon, Richmond County residents. It's Celeste coming to you from Senior Center Without Walls with a recent episode of Age-Friendly Community Conversations. And I'm really excited to have Glenda join us today. We'll get to a little bit more about what Glenda does and why we've asked her to join us. But I started this program called Age-Friendly Community Conversations because I wanted to be able to introduce older adults of Richmond County to various folks in the community and various organizations that are doing some really great work to promote an age-friendly community. And for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, may not have seen the previous episodes, I just want to take a little minute before we get into my conversation with Glenda to talk to you about what an age-friendly community is, because a lot of folks may have heard about this, but are not quite sure what it's all about. Well, essentially, an age-friendly community benefits all ages, but it did start with the World Health Organization focused on older adults, and it has a number of ingredients, if you will, to make a wonderful recipe for a community that talk about age-friendly communities. So some of those elements are things like, the outdoor spaces and the buildings that are available for folks to engage in. Also, transportation is a huge part, particularly in a place like Richmond County, which is very rural. Access to the right kind of housing is really important to an age-friendly community. People being able to participate and not feel socially isolated is also another component to an age-friendly community. They need to feel as though they're being respected for what they bring to the table, for their skills, for their contributions, and they need to feel as though there's opportunities for them to be included, whether that's through paid employment or volunteerism or engaging in different kinds of groups. And finally, the last two things that are really important to an age-friendly community is people need to know what's going on. We need to communicate with them. They need to know what information is out there and how they access this information. And most important, probably to many people, is access to community support, health, and services in their community so that they don't have to leave and go outside looking for it. So that's kind of a very, very snapshot Reader's Digest view of what an age-friendly community is. And over time, I'm hoping that these programs will give you a deeper understanding of what it's all about. But today I have Glenda Richards with us, who is the program coordinator with the Meals on Wheels program with VON in Richmond County. And I'm really excited to have her with us because Glenda's program hits on three components of an age-friendly community. First and foremost, it's a community support. It's a support that's available to older adults in Richmond County. Secondly, the program addresses the issues of transportation. Not everybody has access to transportation. And finally, it also deals with issues of social inclusion and social isolation because, again, I'll let her get into why that is so important. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to ask Glenda to tell us a little bit more about the Frozen Wheels on Meals program that is offered by VON.
Hi, Celeste. Thank you so much for having us here today. Yeah, the program that I'm involved in has been here since actually 2019. It was a private pay. We started off as very little movement. It was just a as need be sort of thing. But last year in 2024, we at Richmond County Meals on Wheels received a contract from Continuing Care. And through them, we get referrals for clients in the community that need support with meals. And that could be because they're having issues with meal prep, whether they just came out of hospital, whether family is going away for a while and they just need that temporary boost over a few weeks or a month or so. Yeah, and we also serve people that are disabled or declining in age due to dementia and things like that. And this is a simple way and a very effective way to ensure that they are getting nutritious meals and not easier than popping a meal in the microwave or in the oven, whatever they choose to do. Yeah. So
Okay, so
yeah,
you mentioned that it has been around since 2019, but
right.
last year that contract with Continuing
Yes.
Care really kind of changed the landscape around the Meals on Wheel program
Yeah. Yeah.
because the referrals could happen through continuing care so that you weren't just depending on people having to find out for themselves.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And we went when I come on board last May, when I was hired last May to take over the program, I put out, I think it was 66 meals in the month of July.
Okay.
So last month we put out 2,100. So there you go.
Wow.
There's the difference with continuing
Okay.
care
That's
referrals.
remarkable.
It
That's
is, it
remarkable.
is very
Okay.
busy, very exciting time. We're
Yeah,
super
so
stoked.
there's
Yeah,
obviously the people that are accessing continuing care would know about it through continuing care, but there's a whole bunch of other people out there that are
yeah,
not accessing continuing care, which is why it's important that we do programs like this to let people know in the community. And we also
yeah.
know that many people watch Teleo. A lot of older adults don't
Mhm.
have internet connectivity, or they may not hear about it through some other way. So that's partly why we're doing this program with Teleo, is because we know that it happens to be one of the ways that many older adults get information. So tell me a little bit more about who is eligible for the program.
Okay, so we sort of look at our Meals on Wheels program in two separate um, classes. The first class is a private pay where anybody, regardless of age or need or whatever, anybody can come in or call and order meals for themselves. They're $6. They're subsidized by the VON through donations and fundraising. So, yeah, so anyone can call us and order the meals. We do have a delivery service. So, whether you want to come in and pick up those meals yourself, or you can call us and we can arrange for delivery right to your home. So, that's the traditional Meals on Wheels that started out here in Richmond County. Then, when we come on board with the continuing care contract, the thing about continuing care contract, you don't have to be a current client of continuing care. You do not have to be a current client of VON. You can be
Okay.
anybody. And they have their own criteria of who's eligible for to receive these meals. Um,
Okay.
but loosely, it's, income, ability. I mean, they service women that are just moms that just come home from hospital. They
Okay.
service younger people with disabilities. So they have their own criteria. So for anybody that's interested in the continuing care aspect of the referrals, anyone can call the intake number there and for the continuing care. And also, if you have a friend or a neighbor or a family member, as long as you have their permission, you can call on their behalf and say,
Oh,
"Hey,
okay.
yeah, I have a so and so's here," and because some people do have difficulty maneuvering through calling in because it is press this, press two, press
Of
three,
course. Yeah, of
sort
course.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I have clients that have called me and asked, "Hey, I've tried this and I get all mixed up. Do you mind doing it?" No problem.
Okay.
I'll take their informations and I'll send in a referral for them, and then the continuing care coordinator will reach out, and then it's out of my hands. It's in the hands of the coordinator, and once approved, the coordinator calls me and sends me over
Okay.
a note and says, "Hey, Mr. John down the road is approved for 4 meals a week." And so then
Perfect.
once I get that referral, I reach out to the client and we onboard them into our system and that.
Right.
And
And then you
yeah,
get the wheels in motion, so to speak,
yeah,
to get
exactly.
this to get it to them. So,
Mm.
um, why is a program like this so important for older adults in Richmond County?
Um, I think the reason why it is so important because it's a multi-tiered thing. Of course, and foremost, and is about nutrition and getting proper nutrition. Um, uh, as all of us, if we're busy or we don't feel well or something is going on with our health, you don't feel like cooking a big meal. You tend to
Hmm.
go and have the crackers and the cheese and a cup of tea or something like that. This
Hmm.
way, it only takes a few minutes to pop nutritional, sorry about that, meal
Okay.
and pop it in the microwave. And, we have 26 selections. We have gluten-free, we have low cal, we have low sodium. We can get minced meals in for the specialty clients. We can get pureed
Okay.
in for stroke patients, or yeah. So there is a vast variety of
Okay, so
different
there's
types
all
of meals.
kinds of meals that are available.
Yeah.
Are there some that are really popular?
Oh gosh, yes. We have the chicken pot pie. We have liver, surprisingly. A lot of the older people like their liver. And the meatballs. We have meatballs
Yeah,
and peppers. They like those. Yeah. So it depends on
okay.
the individual taste, you know.
Yeah,
But
of
those
course.
are
Yeah.
the top ones, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's wonderful. And where are you located, Glenda?
We were located in Louisdale at the Louisdale VON site, but we just moved here in April to the lower level of the Bonnie Bray Seniors Club, just behind Foodland in St. Peter's. So we
Okay.
occupied the basement here. Yeah, and it's nice and big and accommodates for all our freezers.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, yeah.
Good. So that's
And
a
we're
recent
yeah,
move
it's
for
a
you
recent
then.
move, and we're
Yeah.
here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays only from 8:30 to 4:30 for now. We're
Okay.
looking to expand. We just hired a new admin, Jessica McIntyre from St. Peter's,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so
great.
once we get her all trained and ready to roll, we'll be expanding our hours till Friday. So
Excellent. That's
yeah,
great to
yeah,
hear.
yeah.
And so you mentioned earlier that people could go there and pick up their meals, but there's also a delivery program.
Yes,
So
yeah.
how does that work? That's obviously not you driving around Richmond County
No,
delivering them. How do
no,
people get their meals?
we have fantastic volunteers. We have 8 volunteers, and they are just super dedicated and just wonderful people. We divide our county into two. West Richmond would encompass like Louisdale, Almadam, Lower River, Cleveland, those areas, and they are delivered on Wednesdays. Wednesday mornings,
Okay.
our drivers come in, pick up the meals, and off they go, and they deliver them on Wednesdays. Now on Thursdays is East Richmond, which is St. Peter's, down Dundee, all that area, River Bourgeois, Lordways,
Okay.
Ramboyce we go to, all the way down to Johnstown. And yeah, so we have a big area, and we have very dedicated drivers. So yeah, so
That's
anyone
wonderful. So
and
that's
anyone
kind
can
of
do
when
that. Mm,
Yeah, so when I mentioned earlier about how transportation is one of the components of an age-friendly community, that's great because not everyone, number one, has access to a vehicle to go pick it up, or they may not feel comfortable driving anymore, particularly people who are older or they may have a health issue that prevents them
right,
from driving.
right,
And particularly when the weather's not great. So, I mean, having that option available means that they know they're going to be getting healthy meals delivered to their home. The
right.
other thing I'd mentioned, so this is obviously a very important community service to older adults in Richmond County. And the other thing I mentioned is that idea about, social participation. So, how does your program contribute to that?
Well, for social contribution is because we are a weekly service. These
Right.
people see us every week. And part
Very
of our
good.
deliveries, our drivers are instructed that if they get to a home and something's not quite on, they feel the client is a little off they call back. I'll check in with their next of kin. What's going on with so and so today? It's a wellness check as well
Oh,
than just
good.
dropping meals and taking off. No, we
Yeah.
we are we are more we are very concerned about their well-being and how they're doing. We may notice, oh, there's a loose board on the step, or something in the home is amiss a little bit. Well, we'll reach out to their home coordinator, the care coordinator, or the next of kin, and just say, hey, we noticed this is going on or whatever. And it's not just a drop-off meal. It's how are you doing today? How are you
Right.
feeling? It's a conversation at the doorstep. And our drivers would love to go in and have a cup of tea with everybody that's been invited to come in, but of course they don't have time. But it's that interaction,
Yeah.
uh, because some of these clients don't see anyone. We have
Yeah.
clients that are so isolated, and I don't mean geographically. It's just they don't have any family around. They have no means to get out.
Hmm.
So seeing the drivers come every week, it's
Yeah.
I hear stories all the time about them bringing home a jar of relish or whatnot,
Oh,
and
that's nice. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so nice.
one of our ladies, she started making relish again and gifting them out to the drivers and things like that because it gave her something to look forward to. And
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, and that's
yeah,
a really important thing that you mentioned because,
mm,
as you said, I mean, it's not always isolation through geography. Sometimes it's
exactly.
just you're not well and you live alone and you don't go out much.
Yeah,
And that driver may be the only person that you've chatted with over the course of a few days and can make a big difference. And I think the wellness check is
yeah,
really an important feature.
it
It's one of the
very is.
many ways that we can support older adults in the community and kind of watch out for our neighbors. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really, yeah, that's
Oh,
really, really great.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And if somebody wanted to purchase these through kind of private pay, they could just call you directly and purchase them for $6. And then I guess the other option is if they are not a continuing care client, they would call continuing care as you suggested
Yes.
and request it, and then continuing care will make the assessment whether or not they qualify, um, if they fit their criteria. And
Mm-hmm.
that may be that they end up, if they do so, then they'll also be able to access a number of meals per week as well.
Yes, exactly. And
Perfect.
the great thing about the continuing care clients, they have an option to direct their own program as well. Like they can select which meals they want every week. It's not totally up to us. So they call in
Really?
and they'll pick what they like. And sometimes they say, hey, this week my family's coming over and they're cooking for me, so I don't need meals. So they have the option to cancel that week,
Yeah.
and enjoy a meal with the family and friends and things like that. They're not locked in to receiving. They navigate their own program, and for as long as they want, they can cancel at any time. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
So you mentioned in May you had something like 2,200 meals.
yeah. 2156, I believe
Yeah,
we put it. Yeah,
how many people would that kind of translate to?
roughly 90
90
clients.
people. So 90
Yeah,
people are
90 clients.
benefiting from that. And there's
Yeah.
obviously room for growth if there are people
Oh
that
yes. Yeah.
watch this program and say, okay, well, wait a second, I may benefit from
Hmm.
something like that. They can
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
make some inquiries and see whether or not they can participate.
Hmm. And it
Great. So,
it's really interesting because I'll get calls from I got a call from a lady from Almadam and she said, "Oh, those fish and chips." She said, "They're no good in the microwave. They get wet." She said she said, "I tried them in the air fryer." She said, "Tell them to put them in the air fryer."
oh, that's a great idea. Exactly.
So,
Well, and as you
yeah.
said, just because they're prepared to go in a
Yes.
microwave, you could take them out and put them
Oh, yeah,
in a pan and put them in your oven or your toaster oven.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
find the air
yeah.
fryer is really great for reheating a lot of things if you want to
Yeah.
keep that crispness or
Yes,
whatever,
exactly.
yeah. Well,
But it's
that's
interesting
great
how,
feedback.
yeah, people like to reach out and give suggestions and things like that. And of course, we love hearing from all our clients, and
Of
we know
course.
that that's a connection, that is that connection we have with them, that common thing. And it's not always about the Meals on Wheels. Sometimes, they
That's
start
right.
off talking about Meals on Wheels, but then we talk about how their day is going, when a relative came to visit, and different things in their
Nice.
life. So yeah, yeah, I
That's good.
enjoy them. I enjoy the
That's
program
great.
so much. Yeah. I get just as much out of it as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Glenda, you've been in this role for just a little more than a year now, and
Yes.
you've
Yeah.
seen, obviously, you're continuing to see great growth, and I can tell how passionate and happy you are to be doing this for
Yeah.
folks in Richmond County. So, but you can't do it all by yourself. So
No.
obviously
No.
you need volunteers. What are the
Yes.
opportunities for volunteers? You mentioned driving.
But we are in desperate need of packers, people that can
Okay.
come in. Of course, you have to apply and have a police check. All our volunteers are screened through a police check because they
Yeah.
are dealing with confidential information about these clients, and we want to
Yes.
keep that confidential. Because some of our clients, it's hard for them to take
Of
um,
course. Yeah.
a handout, as they say,
Yeah.
and it's not a handout. This is supporting them in their homes so they can stay in their homes, longer. And so we need the packers. We need people coming in to apply for packers to come in and help us pack the meals. We give you a sheet,
Okay.
and it's just a list of all the first names. And Joan, say it's a Joan here. She's getting 6 meals a week. These are her
Okay.
6 meals. We pack them in a bag. We put them in the freezer for where she lives, according to where she lives. And then our drivers come in the next day, pick them up, and off they go. But yeah, so
So
that
if you're delivering on Wednesdays and Thursdays and somebody's
mm,
not home, would the driver just leave it in a box or something? Or
only if we have been instructed.
okay,
We recommend that if you're not going to be home and you want to leave a box, leave it in a cooler.
right,
Freeze a bottle of water, or freeze a couple of little bottles of water, throw it in the cooler, or something, a
right.
container, and we will do that, but only under construction in instructions to do
Right.
so.
So if people are
Yeah.
not, particularly with the summer where people
Yes.
do go out about and with the
Mm-hmm.
weather being hot. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean you actually have to stay home all day if you leave
No.
a cooler in a location where the driver can just put it in the cooler as you
Right.
suggested. So that
Exactly.
makes a great option. So
Yes.
you're looking for volunteers to help you with the packing, and
Mm-hmm.
are you also still looking for more drivers as well?
We can always
Always
use
look,
more
yeah,
drivers
yeah,
because our volunteers need time off as well,
of
and things
course,
come up in their lives, and they would like to take a week off
of
and do
course, yeah.
things. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
And are volunteers compensated for their gas, for
Yes, they
example?
are. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay,
drivers are compensated for their mileage. Yeah,
okay,
and that's every two weeks they receive a compensation,
okay.
and
So
yeah,
they're, because with the price of gas these days, it
yes,
might,
yeah,
you
for
wouldn't want
sure.
people, you wouldn't
Yeah,
want that as a barrier. So this
no.
sounds like a great program, Glenda. If people wanted to get a hold of you, what is your phone number?
Okay, we currently just went back to the old number. We were putting out my cell number, but now that we have Jessica on board with me, we're going
Okay,
back to our old Zoom number, which is 902-345-2900 extension 1.
okay. So people can get a hold of you at 902-345-2900 extension 1.
Right. E-
Or they can stop in and visit you from
Exactly.
Tuesday till Thursday at
Thursdays.
your
Yep.
location at the Bonnie Bray Club on Toulouse Street in St.
Yes.
Peters. And
Yes.
that way they can meet you first up close and personal and actually see, check
Yeah.
out your face and even look at some of the meals
Of
to kind of
course. Of
see
course.
see
Yeah.
what they're, because I know some people are visual and they like to be able to see what they're
Yes.
getting before they get into
Definitely.
ordering them.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, that kind of concludes my questions. So again, I want to thank Glenda for joining us today for this episode of Age-Friendly Community Conversations. As folks know, services like this are so important to older adults to help them age well in place. As she said, it's not a handout. It's a way in which we can have older adults stay in their homes for longer.
Right.
It's also a way that older adults can access a service where they don't actually have to drive and pick it up. They can get it delivered. And they also, the added bonus of having that driver, somebody you can have a quick chat with at your doorstep
Yes.
once a week when they come by to deliver your meals. So
Yeah.
those this program is hitting three categories,
Mhm.
I guess, if you will, of an age-friendly community. And we're so fortunate to have it available for older adults in Richmond County and to have folks like Glenda working on the program. So with that, folks, that's all for today. And I'll be back again with another edition of Age-Friendly Community Conversations at a later date, bringing you some other feature and talking to some other person who's doing everything they can to promote age-friendly communities in Richmond County.
Thank you again, Celeste.